Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with morsels of a thought number 1585. Today we are in Launch How to Take Your Business to New Heights by Jen Duplessis, America's Mortgage Mentor, forward by Michael J. Mayer in The 7 Levels of Communication. We are on page 44. And if I put on my glasses, I'll see better, but actually sometimes I won't. So sometimes I won't see better is what it is. So I'll put this in the middle here, and here we go. Compartmentalize similar activities. Earlier on last week when we were on this on last week Monday, we were in this section that said that we should lump together similar kinds of activities and we would become more efficient that way. So compartmentalize similar activities, recognize and take advantage of efficiencies in your mortgage practice or any practice. The more that you can do like-minded activities at the same time, the more efficient you will get. Utilize time to the best of your ability. One of the real estate statements is highest and best use of your time, highest and best use of your land, highest and best use, HBU. And what we're doing here is very, very similar. It's also the highest and best use of your time. For example, if you're looking to price a loan, price a bunch of loans at one time. Don't price one loan, then work on the checklist of documents that you still need from that client, then do some other part of the process on that loan. It's very inefficient to perform multiple steps on one loan in a linear fashion. Price several loans at one time to compress the time you spend doing that task. Get into a habit, a routine of grouping like activities. You may even be able to skip a step because the loans may be similar with the same circumstances. You can apply the same principle to every aspect of your practice, whether it's meetings, completing a loan analysis, or phone calls. If you can group these tasks together, you're going to be much more efficient and you're going to be able to create habits faster. Meetings can be the worst efficiency and time wasters, not because you are meeting a potential client, but because of how they are scheduled and leave you running from one meeting to another across town. Please don't meet someone, come back to the office, go out and meet with another person, then come back to the office again. Try to stack the meetings one right after the other at the same location, leaving some white space in between appointments so you can record an audio debrief about the meeting, write a thank you note, or do some follow up from the meeting, emails, introductions, etc. By the way, initiating and completing tasks immediately after a meeting is another habit that will make your life much simpler and more efficient. One thing about meetings I want to say is that when I was in high school, I was part of a club. And in this club, we had this meeting about some kind of decision that needed to be made. And every step that we were not closer to the decision, I was getting more and more panicked because I had to get home at 3:30 and it was now 3:20 and I was still at this meeting and I was saying to myself, I need to go, I need to go, I need to go. And I said to them, I need to go, I need to go, I need to go. But being in high school, I was still very young, and I could hear them saying one slow word after another, and my heart would race even faster. So, you do want to have the ability to detach yourself from any activity to get to another activity. The ability to detach is a leadership skill. Okay, now back to the author. Team aspect. Be sure your team, or maybe your assistant, if you have one, is also following efficient habits and routines. I was finding that when a new contract came in, for example, my assistant was working on one loan all the way through to submission to compliance, leaving other files sitting and not progressing rather than segmenting her day and doing similar activities together. Let me explain in further detail. You could make phone calls with no interruptions from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., while at the same time, your assistant could be in quiet time. When you are both finished, you can now take 10 to 15 minutes to debrief one another before moving on to each of your next time blocks. This time, you may be reviewing your business plan while your assistant is doing follow up from your earlier calls. You don't coordinate time. If you don't coordinate your time blocks, you may not find any time to meet during the course of a day. Additionally, this provides a higher level of customer service, experience, and satisfaction. Clients won't be waiting for a response because you, quote, haven't had a chance to talk to your assistant or processor or underwriter yet. Finite number of days. Habits are incredible. At the end of the day, you could find yourself having done more in a day than most people will do in the entire week. Every minute, hour, and day counts. Think about it. We don't have that many days to actually do work. Darren Hardy explained this one day in his Darren Daily video podcast. Hang on because this may hurt. If you are 20 years old today, you'll have 800, no, you'll have 10,800 days that you'll be waking up to go to work to make a difference if you work until you're 65. If you're 30, your number of work days is down to 8,400. If you're 50, you've got just 3,600 days of work left. You must take, you must make the most of your days, period. Bottom line, pay attention to your use of time and only take on tasks that are important. Do them well and do them only in the most efficient way you possibly can. Challenge yourself to think through your decisions and ask, is this the most efficient way I could be doing this task? When you follow great habits, you'll create a life of quality for yourself. You're going to have a much broader life that allows you to reduce the stress this industry creates, enjoy what you do, and allow for your passions to be realized. Jen's Jots. Consciously develop and follow habits and routines to be more efficient in your work. Always group similar activities to take advantage of efficiencies. Segment the activities of everyone on your team, including you, into the same time blocking to serve each other and clients more efficiently. Okay, so before we get into the next section here, I'm going to talk a little bit about something that I was doing this morning a little bit earlier. I was actually creating a table for myself, but at the beginning, I was just using a calculator. As I was using the calculator, I was doing 4 or 5 different calculations at a time. And I would say, okay, this number of hours of work time, and this number of hours of, and this number of hours of. And then I was doing this plus that divided by that plus this and the other. And I finally said I could do this so much more easily with a computer. So I went to my computer. And instead of going to the next calculation, I went to trying to create the table. I found myself an hour later still working on the table and not having gotten that next calculation done. So, what Jen is saying is that we want to do things one thing at a time, but put those 1 and 2 and 3 things together in such a way that we can do 1 and 2 and 3 things for A and B and C versus only for A and then another time again for B and then another time again for C. We want to be able to get all the results at the same time if those results are easier to get by doing them once rather than doing them more times. In either case, we're trying to get them done more quickly. Okay, now we're chapter 3 to 3, section 4. Build each day with a blueprint. The big idea is blueprint your plan of attack every day the day before. Set yourself up to succeed every day by being prepared and professional. The anonymous person said, plan your work and work your plan. Wonder if that was from also Richard D. Templar's book in Rules of Work. The Rules of Work. Work your plan your work your plan. Something like that. In any case, many people have said it by now. Okay, so good morning. Somebody's here, I see. I can't see your name, but I see you're here. Good morning. Let's dive right into one more aspect of how you can control your daily schedule. So far, we've talked about the importance of being disciplined, about using your time, and about working in concrete blocks of time so you can compress your work and get more done. Now, let's talk about thinking ahead every day, or what I call blueprint time. Think about the blueprints for a house that show the framework that supports the finished product. Just like real blueprints, if you create a blueprint ahead of time for the framework of your day, you'll wind up with a beautiful finished design. Blueprinting one day ahead. Lady Jen says, what I mean by blueprinting your day is to set aside some time each day to review, prepare for, and mentally walk through your day's activities. And mentally walk through your next day's activities. What I mean by blueprinting your day is to set aside some time each day to review, prepare for, and mentally walk through your next day's activities. When you do this is not as important as making sure you do it. I find that it works best to do this in late afternoon, but you should find a time that best fits your way of working. The blueprint time is about setting yourself up to succeed at what I call the 6 P's: planning, preparing, practicing, presenting, producing, and follow up. Hey, I had to be phonetic about follow up, or else my creative list wouldn't be so creative. Follow up PH. During your blueprint time, you plan and prepare for the day and your scheduled activities. You practice what you might present in a meeting. You think ahead to what you want to produce during each activity on your calendar, and you anticipate any follow-up actions. Let's say, for example, that you're going to be meeting with a real estate agent partner the next day. You might want to make sure you have your brochure on an upcoming class or seminar that you're going to be putting together. Or perhaps you're at the stage of showing your potential value to them. So you want to pull together some of your recommendation letters to share with them, or the success stories your clients have written about you. You want to make sure you have all your materials in hand and ready to go. Walk through in your mind what it is you want to talk to them about. What do you want to accomplish at the meeting? Really pre-plan in your mind how that meeting's going to go. A lot of the time, I'm going to say a lot of the time never mind. Let's forget what I was about to say. I was about to say something that I can't remember. Likewise, what if you have a presentation scheduled, says Lady Jen? Do you know how many people are coming? Do you have your presentation ready? Is it on your computer? What if the computer doesn't work with the projector at the venue? Have you backed up the presentation on a USB drive? What if neither of those options works? Have you printed out your presentation notes so that you can deliver your presentation without having slides available? So think about all the variables. What about a planned meeting with a client? Perhaps you're having a discovery meeting, as I call them, which is a meeting where you're meeting a client for the first time to discuss their situation and discover the best options available to them. Do you have your collateral available? Have you done some preliminary research so you're well prepared as a professional loan originator? Do you have your mortgage total cost analysis ready? Have you checked the markets? Do you know exactly where rates are today, where they might be heading, and what the trends have been? This blueprint time is really important to ensure that you are the best that you can be. You won't be frazzled because you forgot something. You won't look unprepared because you waited until the very last minute to print out materials only to discover that the computer isn't talking to the printer. Set aside some blueprint time every day. Plan and prepare for your next day or 2 days worth of activities. That way, you'll look and represent yourself as the professional you are. So, right before we jump into the next part, I want to say that morsels of a thought is for thoughts of wisdom. And when we do things that we know we're supposed to do, we're doing something of virtue. Knowing what to do is wisdom. Doing it is actually called virtue. Okay, back to the book. A metaphor for planning ahead in your practice. Don't just spend time reviewing your blueprint daily. You should also look ahead to see how today has impacted or will impact your week, month, and year. Think about your time and the highest and best use of your time. Ask yourself, how am I going to set up my weekly plan and schedule so that I make sure I'm generating leads, finding potential clients, and working with referral partners to unearth new business each and every day? Where do you want to be spending your time? How can you set up your day, the week, and the next month to generate new business? And how can you set up your time to serve your clients better? Plan your schedule with intensity and focus. Don't simply put in long hours while you convince yourself you're leaning into your business. Think, think, think. Jen's Jots. Set aside some time each day to review, prepare for, and mentally walk through your next day's activities. Ask yourself what you want to accomplish at meetings, while networking, or during your daily outbound phone calls. Prepare ahead of time to eliminate the unexpected, which could make you stumble in your routine and or in achieving your goals. Now, when she says set aside some time each day to review, prepare for, and mentally walk through your next day's activities, I take it to mean that you actually sit there, maybe close your eyes and meditate on the next day, looking at your schedule and seeing the meeting you have, the time you're going to meet with your assistant, and the day while you're going to have lunch, where you might go to have lunch, where you might stay to have lunch, and next, the afternoon, if you don't have meetings already planned, whom you're planning to call and when you're planning to call them, at what time of day, and then when you are planning to do your meeting, also, visualize through the agenda of the meeting what you're going to read out to them. And if you don't have an agenda already, this is what you put down on your task list for the next day. So that's what you've got to do. There's a little bit of closing your eyes to meditate, just a little. Ask yourself what you want to accomplish at meetings while networking or during your daily outbound phone calls. You can ask yourself this question while you're meditating too. Prepare ahead of time to eliminate the unexpected, which could make you stumble in your routine and or in achieving your goals. At this point, you can also say, what if? But what if? Maybe not. What if? Okay, so next section, what to do during blueprint time. Here are some of the activities and tasks you can check and prepare for during your blueprint time. Review your schedule for tomorrow. Review your schedule for the next few days. Confirm your appointments and meetings. Make sure you have all the necessary tools you need for your upcoming appointments. Your calculator, computer with power cord, business cards, name tag, brochures, flyers, giveaway items, free drawing item, basket or bowl of collecting cards for collecting cards, food or arrangements if you are doing broker opens or lunch and learns, contact information for the people you are meeting. Next, handouts for presentations. These are the tasks you can check for and prepare during your blueprint time. You've practiced your presentation. Breathe, meditate, work out, or dance like I do, says Lady Jen. Think through how you would like your upcoming meeting to go. Perhaps you have a meeting with a referral partner or client. What is your goal for the meeting? What will you tell them about your business and what makes you different? What do you want to find out about them? If it's a potential referral partner, do you have something specific in mind to help their business grow? How will you present that? How will you communicate after the meeting? What is your follow-up plan? Review what you accomplished today and what needs to be done tomorrow. That is your to-do list. Keep in mind what needs to be time blocked versus what can be done in a few minutes. Who will you be calling during your outbound phone time? Do you have their numbers available? What will you be talking about? Have you reviewed notes from previous calls so you can ask about things important to them? Do you have enough gas in your car? I have been late more than once because my car was extremely low on gas and I hadn't planned for gas station time. Is there anything else that might affect your schedule? Road construction, unfamiliar route for which you need to program your GPS? Emails introducing partners to one another and clients. Now keep in mind, gasoline time is a minimum of 15 minutes. You may think it only takes 2 minutes out of your way, but you've got to step out of your car, get to the pump in our self-serve stations, get to the pump, turn on the pump using your credit card, which will take another minute, and then pump the gas, which could take 2 minutes, but then you have to put the pump away, the nozzle. We have had more than one nozzle get driven off in a car. Anyway, so put the nozzle back, walk back into your car, handling your wallet and your cash, and starting your engine and getting back onto the road. Those will take 10 to 15 minutes minimum, guaranteed. Get organized. Take the time every day to plan your activities so you can represent yourself and your practice in a totally positive and professional light. Even during blueprint time, consider compartmentalizing like-minded activities. And next week, we will go into chapter 3, section 5, the false allure of balance. Okay, so we will talk to you again later tomorrow, and I'll see you then. His hand. Okay, old Kinderhook. Bye-bye.